Hello, and welcome back to the Curious Kid Podcast. Last week, we got curious about Northern Lights for listeners all around the world. This week, we are getting curious about a different topic for a listener that lives right here where we live, in Voorhees, New Jersey.
Mailbag!
Mailbag! Hi, why is George Washington not on the penny if he is on the $1 bill, and he was the first president? Also, I'm curious about archaeology. I love your podcast. I listen to it in the car. Keep up the good work. Gabe from Voorhees, New Jersey.
What up, Gabe? Thank you so much for letting us know what you're curious about. Gabe is a friend of mine, and he loves listening to the podcast. He actually reached out to us 3 years ago, so we are stoked to finally get curious for him this week.
We are going to do something interesting we've never done before in this episode. We are getting curious about archaeology for Gabe this week, but he had another question that we are going to work into the question of the week.
Gabe wanted to know why George Washington isn't on the penny, because he was the first president and the penny is worth 1 cent. The question of the week is, who was on the penny, and why was that person selected to be on the penny?
While you're going through all of the presidents and maybe some other important historical figures in your head, trying to think of the answer, let's learn all about archaeology. For starters, archaeology is a long word. What does it even mean?
Archaeology is the study of human history through the things that people left behind. Those things are called artifacts. Artifacts can be anything like ancient tools, pots, jewelry, and even the remains of buildings or bones. Archaeologists dig those things up to learn how people lived a long time ago.
Being an archaeologist must be so interesting. They are like history detectives, solving mysteries from the past.
They use the clues they find to understand ancient cultures, how people survived, and how civilizations grew and changed.
But how do archaeologists even get started? It's not like they just pick random places and start digging.
They start by researching an area and asking questions like, what is the history of this place? Or, what kind of people lived here? For example, if an archaeologist is looking for ancient Egyptian artifacts, they might start by exploring old pyramids or tombs. If they want to find prehistoric bones, they might search caves or ancient campsites.
And once they pick the spot to explore, they begin by digging carefully. They dig small squares of earth and take their time, because even a tiny mistake could destroy an important artifact.
They use special tools like trowels, brushes, and even dental picks to carefully uncover things without damaging them. A trowel is a small tool used for digging that people commonly use in gardening.
But we can't stress this enough. You need to be very patient to be an archaeologist, because the process is very slow. It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle with thousands of pieces. It can't be done quickly. In order to complete the task, it's best to take your time and be patient. If you do, the results could be amazing.
There are different types of archaeology. One type is called prehistoric archaeology. They study things like ancient tools, cave paintings, and early human remains.
Historical archaeologists look at more recent history, after people started writing things down. They might study ancient cities and tombs like the ones in Egypt.
Another cool kind of archaeology is underwater archaeology. These archaeologists explore the shipwrecks, ancient sunken cities, and other things lost beneath the water. They probably find all sorts of treasures.
And there's also bioarchaeology, which studies human bones to learn about people's health, diet, and even their life stories.
In other words, no matter what time period you're interested in, there is an archaeologist studying it.
Being an archaeologist sounds like hard work, but it can also be very rewarding, because it's possible you might discover something absolutely amazing.
In 1922, just over 100 years ago, archaeologist Howard Carter uncovered the tomb of King Tutankhamun, who was a young Egyptian pharaoh that is often referred to as King Tut. The tomb was filled with amazing treasures like gold masks, jewelry, and even a gold chariot. What made the discovery so amazing is that everything inside was preserved, untouched for thousands of years.
Another awesome one is the Terracotta Army in China. In 1974, farmers discovered thousands of life-sized clay soldiers buried near the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. The soldiers were meant to protect the emperor in the afterlife, and each of the clay soldiers was unique. No two soldiers looked the same. It's one of the most important archaeological finds ever.
And there's also the Machu Picchu discovery in Peru. This ancient Inca city was hidden high in the mountains until 1911, when archaeologist Hiram Bingham found it. Now it's one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world.
So, you might be thinking, why does it matter if we find a broken pot or an old sword? Well, it's because these artifacts help to teach us something about how people lived long ago. For example, a broken pot might tell us what people ate, how they cooked, or what kind of tools they had.
A discovery of bones can teach us about ancient diets, diseases, and even what people looked like. A piece of artwork or a carving can help us learn what people believed. So a carving of God or a goddess can show us what ancient people believed in or how they honored their rulers. Even things like the shapes of their homes or the layout of a city can teach us about their way of life.
So, being an archaeologist is so much more than studying individual artifacts. It's about studying whole cultures and societies. Every artifact is just a piece in that bigger puzzle that helps us understand how humans lived and evolved.
After hearing all of this, are you interested in being an archaeologist? If you are interested, there are lots of different ways to start. You can join archaeology clubs or summer camps. Some museums even offer workshops where you can try your hand at digging and studying artifacts.
You can also start by reading books and watching documentaries about famous archaeological discoveries. And if you're really into it, there are even programs that let you participate in real digs when you're older. Learning history and geography is a great place to start. The more you know about the world, the better an archaeologist you can become. Whether you're fascinated by ancient Egypt, lost cities, or ancient bones, archaeology is a journey that you can start today.
And being an archaeologist today is so different than being one many years ago because of the technology which has transformed archaeology. Ground-penetrating radars are used now, which helps us see what's below the surface without even digging. This helps archaeologists find hidden ruins and tombs.
And drones are used to map out big areas like ancient cities or lost civilizations from the sky. It helps them spot things that are hard to see from the ground.
Robots are even used in underwater archaeology to explore shipwrecks or submerged cities. They can go where humans can't, and they have cameras to send back images.
These different technological advances have helped archaeologists make even more discoveries faster and with less damage to the artifacts.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like aloe or skins, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. With Shop Pay, that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts are going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell whatever your customers are scrolling or strolling on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Skins uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
So, it's easy to think that there might not be much left to discover as more and more things are being found all the time. I think think it would surprise you to hear some of the amazing artifacts that are still being discovered today. Here with 5 unbelievable archaeological discoveries in 2024 is Noah. Discovery number 1. In February of last year, 13 human bone fragments were discovered in Germany. Those bones are from about 47,500 years ago. Because of this discovery, we now believe that modern humans arrived in this part of the world earlier than we thought before. Discovery number 2. In March, a piece of bread was found in Turkey that is believed to date all the way back to the year 6800 BC. It is believed to be the oldest bread ever discovered. You think it might be stale? Archaeologists also found barley, pea seeds, and wheat in the same location. Discovery number 3. This one is crazy. In April, a 640-year-old castle was discovered. The castle was built by John IV the Conqueror, and it was located in France. It was found under the courtyard of a hotel. Discovery number 4. Also in April, 2 glass bottles were found in George Washington's property in Virginia, called Mount Vernon. There was a mysterious liquid found in the glass bottles. Experts think those bottles filled with cherries and were placed underground to keep them cold. That's one way people kept their food cold before the invention of refrigerators. Discovery number 5. In July, scientists discovered the oldest cave painting ever found. It is estimated to be over 51,000 years old. In the cave painting, 3 people are gathered around a big red pig. The discovery was made in Indonesia.
Oh my goodness! Those are amazing discoveries all made last year. There must be so many amazing artifacts left to discover. Okay, folks, it's time to answer the question of the week. Even though George Washington was the very first president of the United States, he is not the person that was selected to appear on the 1-cent coin, also called the penny. Who is on the penny, and why is that person on the penny?
The image of the 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, appears on the penny. Lincoln became the first president featured on American coins all the way back in 1909, and he was selected to honor what would have been his 100th birthday.
If cool facts about money interest you, you should totally check out episode 63 of the podcast, Curious About Money. The podcast sounded a bit different back when we recorded that episode, so it's definitely worth a listen. Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's podcast, number 295 on archaeology.
Great job, Olivia, and great job, Gabe, for giving us an episode topic suggestion that we totally dig.
Before we roll out for this week, we want to thank the listener that left us this 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
It says, "Thank you for producing such informative videos. My family loves this podcast."
Thank you for listening and taking the time to leave a review. We read all of the reviews, and we even read lots of them in our episodes for everyone to hear.
As a reminder, we are just 5 weeks away from milestone episode number 300. To celebrate the big occasion, we want to share episode 300 with the most important thing that keeps this podcast going, our listeners. Olivia and Noah work really hard on this podcast, week after week. If you want to congratulate them for 300 episodes of Curious Kid Podcast, leave us a voicemail. The number to call is 856-425-2324. The voicemail number can also be found in the episode notes. You can also leave us a voicemail by going to our website, www.curiouskidpodcast.com. We are going to play a lot of your messages in episode 300. Please keep your messages under 30 seconds long so we can include as many as possible. The deadline to leave a congratulations voicemail is Friday, March 14th. Join us next week when we will get curious about houses for listeners in North Carolina, Illinois, New York, and Oregon. As always, thank you so much for listening and getting curious with us.